Hey fellow foodies, it's Faye from faysfood.com. Today I'm showing you my version of one pot stovetop lasagna. Alright, so I just have my pot over a medium high heat. I'm going to drizzle in some olive oil. And I did go ahead and dice a medium-sized yellow onion. I'm going to go ahead and add that in right now. Alright, just give it a stir. And I do need a little bit more olive oil, so I'm going to just drizzle that in. Alright, so I'm going to just let this cook for a few minutes or until the onions are more translucent and softer. You can see I'm kind of giving it a stir. There was one big piece that I was trying to break up. We just want to give this a stir and let it cook for a few minutes. And now I'm going to go ahead and add in the minced garlic. Garlic cooks really quickly, so that means it can burn really quickly. We just want to cook this for about a minute. Stir everything together. And if you're a garlic and onion lover like I am, your kitchen is smelling so heavenly right now. Okay, so we have our onions, our garlic in there. Now we're going to go ahead and add the beef. We're just using chuck beef, about a pound and a half. I'm going to go ahead and break this up. And that's where a nice wooden spoon comes in handy. It will really allow us to break up the beef nicely. So we're going to break it up into kind of a medium or small sized chunks like that. And we're going to cook this all together for a few minutes until the beef is browned. After that, you can go ahead and add in the mushrooms all at once. I'm just using white button mushrooms. You can use whatever mushrooms you'd like, really. I'm going to go ahead and give this a stir. We only want to cook our mushrooms for a couple of minutes, just add a little bit of color to them. And it's important to stir throughout the process because if you don't, things can stick to the bottom of the pot. Alright, our mushrooms are added in. I'm going to be using some San Marzano tomato sauce. I really love this stuff whenever I'm making any type of Italian food that requires some sauce. You can use your favorite, jarred pasta sauce if you'd like as well. Whatever you have works. Okay. On top of the sauce, I do add a bit of water, about a half a cup of water. I really like the consistency of the water being added. It takes away some of the acidity as well. You don't have to add the water, that's totally optional. I'm gonna, of course, season it now. That's the important part of all of this, or else it will taste like nothing. I added in some freshly ground black pepper, some salt, and some Italian seasoning. And I'm adding in a bit of red pepper just for a little bit of heat. I'm going to give this all a stir. You can see with the bit of water I added, it's more like a stew, which is what I like. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and layer in some cheese. I'm using 3 different kinds of cheeses: Munster, provolone, and mozzarella. So I'm just adding in the mozzarella at this point. And I'm just going to kind of chunk it in. You can see I kind of tried to grate it in, but that would take way too much time, so I just chunked them in. They'll melt as we cook the whole thing, so it's fine. Alright, all our cheese is in. I can go ahead and give this a stir. And you can see that lovely melted cheese with the sauce and the beef. Oh my gosh, this is my language right here. I am fluent in cheese, sauce, herbs, all that. Alright, after we add in the cheese, we can add in the herbs. I'm using some parsley and a bit of basil. You don't want to overdo it with the basil. It's a bit peppery, a bit sweet, and it can really, it can enhance your dish if you use just enough of it, but if you overdo it, it can also ruin your dish. So just be careful with that. At this point, I'm going to add in the lasagna noodles. You can tear them up if you'd like. I usually don't find it necessary, but if you would prefer kind of bite-sized pieces, you can tear it up a bit. So I'm using 4, maybe 5 noodles at this point, and then I'm going to go ahead and give it a stir. You can see that they are part cooked. I cooked them for just a couple of minutes in some boiled water. I've done both. I've cooked them directly in the sauce from the start, and I've part cooked them. I find if you part cook it just for a couple of minutes, the texture is just a bit better. If you're in a pinch though, they cook fine in the sauce. It's just the texture will be a little bit different. Right, I'm going to give this all a stir. Incorporate the noodles with the sauce and the cheese. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and layer the rest of the noodles on top. And this is just something I like to do. If you want to add in the rest of the noodles the same way, just by tearing it up, you can do that. Now I'm going to layer the rest of the cheese on top as well. This is kind of our last quote-unquote layer. And I'm going to go ahead and season the top a bit. You want to make sure to taste the sauce throughout, taste all of it throughout, because you want to make sure the seasoning is on point. I'm going to cover this, let it cook for about 4 or 5 minutes, just for the noodles to, you know, continue cooking and for the cheese to melt. And you can see how beautiful that looks. That is perfection. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so now I can go ahead and add in the rest of the herbs. We're adding in some basil and some parsley. And usually in this dish I do add some spinach. However, my brother's kind of a downer. He doesn't like spinach for some reason. And he also doesn't like ricotta. Like, I don't know what's wrong with him. This is the dish that calls for spinach and ricotta. You have to have it. But, you know, to make him be able to eat it and for me to be happy, I had to do this on the side. So I add my spinach and my ricotta to my own individual plate. So I'm going to drizzle in a bit of olive oil, and this is our finished pot of food. I'm going to go ahead and put some in my own plate so you can see how I plated it up. See, it's saucy, cheesy, beefy, herbs. Like, this is, to me, an easy dish when I want my lasagna fix, but I don't want to go through all that, you know, layering and cooking the beef and making the cheese mixture. It's just a bit of work. So when I'm feeling lazy, this is my way of filling my lasagna need without going through all that work. Okay, so that's my plate. I'm going to go ahead and add in some more herbs on top. And then I'm going to add in some spinach leaves, actually. Obviously, you'd add in the spinach when you add in the other herbs. If you don't have a picky eater in your family. But I unfortunately have a lot of them. So I'm going to add in a bit of spinach just for my plate. The heat will cook them a bit. And then I'm going to add in some ricotta just to sit on top. You can also crumble it on top. That was really good. I did that the next day. So you can do either one. For the full recipe, go to facefood.com. I definitely recommend you give this a try. It's a great option when you're feeling like eating something very filling and you want your lasagna fix, but you don't feel like doing the work. For the full recipe, like I said, you go to facefood.com. Everything will be on there. Like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Comment below for any comments or questions. Definitely subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate it. Make sure you hit the bell notification button so you can keep updated with all of my videos. And until next time, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day.
I'm just trying to make this money. I ain't trying to share with the team. Girl, I ain't trying to take nothing from you.